Okay, so for this video, I basically wanted to showcase some interesting things that I have come across recently that might be some helpful tools for those wanting some custom characters in their game design projects. So here we are at Mixamo.com. To be able to access this, you do have to have a Adobe account. It doesn't have to be a paid Adobe account. It can be a free one, but you have to have an Adobe account. Mixamo was actually bought by Adobe a number of years back, maybe like 10 or 15. And they had this website kind of completely free and accessible ever since. You can either upload your own model to this one and rig it, or use one of the characters that are preset. So you can see here are some of the characters, and there are lots of them. For this video, I'm going to be using this one here. This is this soccer guy. Here he is, I guess his name's Shannon. Mostly because I liked his silhouette. It's a little bit interesting, and I thought it might make for a fun example. But there are definitely some more kind of traditional video game looking styles and characters. So again, you can go through any of these. Like again, this superhero looking one, or yeah, quick popping up. Or this one here that looks almost exactly the same, but with some attachment parts here. That one's pretty cool and very video game-like. Or even this monster character here is pretty cool looking. All right. Although you could use some pants maybe. But any of these characters or any of these guys will work for this kind of the same process. Again, we're just going to use this one here because I'm interested to see how he turns out actually. What you can do is you can download the character, and it's going to download an FBX that's fully rigged. Now, that rig is pretty good, and if you're putting it directly into something like Unity or Unreal or something, you absolutely can. But we're going to be using 3ds Max, and so there is an old script that Mixamo used to just give you when you downloaded a model that could convert these rigs into a biped or cat rig for 3ds Max. And so I have a link to a GitHub page where you can download those scripts in the description of this video, and a couple of other ones where I've used Mixamo. And so that's what I kind of have here. Is I've just downloaded this model, and then I drag and dropped the script directly on the window, and it ran and basically converted the rig over to biped. And so now if I come in here and just hide the body here, oops, wrong one, and the shirts and different things, you can see I can grab the biped and kind of move it. Here, we'll put it back on so you can see him all rigged up. And you can see there the character's moving and bending again using the biped bones, right? So it's pretty much ready to go. Now, this character, if I wanted to use biped and upload animation data, motion capture data, mix my own animations, and use all of the tools that biped has for animating, it's ready to go. But what I come across really interesting actually pertains to the texture of it, and using some of the newer capability of AI generative tools to kind of make some interesting modifications to this. Now, in the past, I've used like Mudbox, and you can still use these tools, and even it kind of works best if you use them in combination, right? Again, I like to say using AI best as a tool rather than a replacement. But you could load this character in like Mudbox and paint on the character, or I could create, upload the character's texture in something like Photoshop and manipulate it in there as well. But what you can also do on top of all of those is you can use AI, and it's okay, to make some pretty interesting texture changes. And while it doesn't get maybe everything right, and it's still going to need human eyes and adjustments, the stuff that it's capable of doing today, I think, is more impressive than most people realize. And so I want to showcase some of those neat things here. So I'm going to take this guy, and I'm just going to open up my material editor by hitting M on the keyboard. I'm going to use the eyedropper here to pick the character, and it's going to load the character's material here, and it looks like it's using old physical materials, which were the old default. And you can see here M, this is where the diffuse map is. So if I click on it, you can see we'll open up the options, and then here again, here's where it is. If I do Reveal Location Explorer, just right click on it, it's going to open up a nice pop-up window with the texture file itself. So this is the texture of that character. When you import your FBX inside 3ds Max, it makes a folder, you know, again, where you can see how mine's in my downloads of it, .fbm, that's going to be where the materials are, and this is the material of the character. So what I'm going to use is, I'm going to use Gemini. I'm going to upload this character and basically ask it to retexture the character based on this map. Okay, so here it is again. Here's that diffuse texture, and I'm just going to drop it here into Gemini. I found that the Pro version works better than Fast, so if you have access to the Pro, I would recommend that. But you just want to say this is a diffuse map for a 3D character. Right now, and again, the prompt you use, you can play with. My meeting is starting. Let's see. Fantasy warrior. Can you change the outfit texture to be leather and metal armor? Okay. And let's just let it go and see what we get. Okay, this can take about a minute. I will say, with all of these AI generative tools, the one thing you'll definitely notice is sometimes it's a bit like a, you know, random number generator. So you're rolling the dice and you're hoping you get something good. Again, what's nice is you can just keep trying it if it doesn't quite work. But what I've found is, especially in like instances like this one where the diffuse map has the top at the top and the bottom at the bottom, and not every character is kind of laid out like that, it works pretty well. And it's pretty good at recognizing the UV islands and keeping the mapping, again, pretty close. Along the edges and stuff, sometimes it has trouble. But you can see here is, it's funny they gave him a beard. Here is that new texture. Now, whether or not it's going to look good, you know, we'll have to see. But let's see what it looks like on our model. Let me download it. Okay, I've just downloaded this and put it here again in the same folder as this guy. I don't have to put it necessarily in the same folder, but I did it just to keep everything together. And I'm just going to drag it over here to my diffuse map, and let's see how he looks. All right. So you can see, again, a bit of a, kept a lot of the weird soccer look to the jersey here. I would say torso-wise, I don't know, the 7's super weird. And again, it kept some of the detail work, which we may or may not want. It certainly made some interesting choices. You can see here along this edge, obviously it had a lot of trouble, and that's not going to work. That looks kind of rough. The arms, other than at the connecting point, look pretty good, and there is kind of a nice seam here. If I had the same texture over here, that would look pretty good. Again, got some weird strangeness happening down here on the edging. This side's a little better, but still kind of funky. Again, I think it kept maybe too much of the design from the soccer player, and of course the front of the armor is very, these shorts are very interesting. They actually match up and the lines look really good, but it's a very strange design. So is it perfect? No. Does it need some work? So in some spots, absolutely. But I also have been really impressed on how close it keeps the UVW mapping of the character. Again, the socks look pretty good. It's made armored cleats, which is very strange. Probably mentioning it was a soccer player in the prompt probably wasn't the great choice. But the one thing I think a lot of people right now are not aware of is that you can even do this. You can even get to this point. I will say, as recently as 6 months ago, I couldn't even get close to editing a flattened diffuse map inside of an AI generator. And today, it ain't perfect. It still needs plenty of work, but it is worlds better than it used to be. So again, that's actually my rig sticking out the back, not the texture. All right, hopefully you found this video helpful, or at least interesting.